Hey, yeah, what's up? This Disciple Marshall Occurrence Rain back up in this. Yeah, so this video is just gonna be kind of like a freestyle of thoughts, things I want to get off my chest, things I think about and are thinking about. And one of those things are right now is who's the chosen people? Who's supposed to be the chosen people, spiritually speaking? And what I personally believe is that um, the Jews that are in Israel, Jerusalem, are the real Jews. And the reason why I believe that they are the real Jews is because if there was another race, how would it be as it is? How would it be as it is? And my thing is I must first say that everybody have their um, certain a design that God has given them and a purpose that God has given each race of people. Um, that's every race, and I just think that everyone wants to be special. That's what I think. I personally think people want to be special, and you don't. And with that particular angle, that special is trying to um, make yourself the chosen ones. It's narcissistic to me, and I think that a lot of Americans are just narcissistic, and they even pull that narcissistic perspective over into their religion, and the bottom line is we're all humans, and God is on the throne. That's the bottom line. God is on the throne. Ain't no humans on the throne. Ain't no black people on the throne. Ain't no white people. Ain't no Jewish people on the throne. God is on the throne. And if you really pay attention, people have themselves on the throne. They do. They have themselves on the throne, and they don't even serve God as they should serve God, let alone being His chosen people. They're on the throne, not God. Pay attention. Pay attention. People are self-serving in America. People are um, conceited, all about them. Love, let me tell you what love is. Love is selfless. That means as far as your race, as far as who you are, as far as who your people are. When you have love, you're not even thinking about self. You're projecting outwardly. You're projecting outwardly. You're not projecting inwardly. So if you pay attention to that too, a lot of people that say they have love, they're projecting inwardly and not outwardly. If you have love, you project outwardly to other races and not just putting yourself on the throne. So whatever race is the chosen race should be loving other races. If you are the chosen race, then you should be loving other races, not yourself. you know, and that's how it's a lot of foolishness, just to be honest. Because people are serving themselves, they love themselves, and they don't love anyone else. And it's races like that. It's white people like that. It's black people like that. They love themselves, they don't love anyone else. So that's not love. When you have love, you love outwardly. You project that outwardly, not inwardly. You're supposed to have self-love, granted, but not to the point where it's toxic, not to the point where you can't see the usefulness of another race. You can't see nobody's agenda, or you don't care about anybody's agenda and well-being but your own. God didn't call anybody to come here and be like that, where you're only about yourself, you're only about your race, you're only about the needs of your race, and you can't even uh, You can't, in a sophisticated way, you can't even see the purposes of other races. You can't even see it. You can't even see the other purposes for other races being here. So, ask some of these people, what's the purpose of white people? Ask black people, what's the purpose of white people? They have a purpose too. They have a purpose. Their purpose is not to serve you, okay? And vice versa. Ask white people, what's the purpose for black people? To serve you? You want me to serve you? Okay, so see, here, particularly here in this country, a lot of people can sit up and say that they're the chosen people. They are but if you were the chosen people, you would be able to utilize all the races that are here. You would be able to tell me the purposes. You would be able to explain to us the purposes of all humanity, of all the other races. You wouldn't just be here and ignoring all the other races. If you truly were chosen, if you truly were the chosen people, you would not be ignoring the other races, the other people. And you would know, if you truly were spiritually connected to the Lord, you would know their purposes as well. All you can tell us is the purpose of your race. So how are you on top when you can't utilize and understand the purposes of other races? You're supposed to be on top. You're supposed to be chosen people. So then why you can't tell us what white people are supposed to do? Why you can't tell us what the Asians and the Mexicans and the Hispanics and Latinos are supposed to do? Explain to me that. And that's what I'm saying. And and so I don't buy into this whole chosen people, or even the whole this perspective. Like, this is almost like a religion of us, a particular race being uh, uh, chosen, or you see how it kind of silly it sounds. It sounds kind of silly a little bit, because at the end of the day, like I said, we all have purpose. Nobody's better than another race. That's not how God would have people project themselves, black or white. And pay attention to black people. They do that too. They project themselves as better than others. Many times they do, and they can be very narcissistic here in America. And see, with white people, what you need to understand is there's a difference between African and African American. There are African people that I know and are connected to, and they don't act like African Americans. So they're not one and the same, in other words. And I know the difference. I know the difference between Jamaicans and African Americans as well. They're not one and the same. There's nothing about them really, okay, maybe the vibration is kind of close, but if you look at overall, they're not one and the same. And that's basically what it boils down to. And so what I've also noticed is that black people can be very hateful, and then look for hate in others. I mean, this is how I feel personally. If you have the strength to shoot somebody that's black, um, that's hate for another black person. You don't love somebody you shoot. You don't love somebody you shoot. So really, it's other people that have the hangups in all actuality, which makes it a form of hypocrisy, because you can sit up and try to find fault in other people, but in actuality, it's you that's killing you. I don't care how desensitized you are to that reality. The bottom line is you're doing all the killing of yourself, but yet you say you're the chosen people. Some people would doubt that. Some people would doubt that, because you're too busy killing each other. You're too busy hating each other as a result of, obviously, as a result of killing each other. So So I really personally don't care who is the chosen people, because I'm personally burnt out on humanity as a whole anyway. I care about God. I care about him, what he thinks, how he feels. And you got to understand that that's most important. I don't care how narcissistic you are. I don't care how you think people hate other people. I'm To be honest with you, I really don't care who's who, to be honest, because it's all a mess. It's all a mess. Ain't nothing together, especially in America. It's nothing together. All that secret organization stuff. At the end of the day, people are still dying openly. People are still suffering openly, and there's poverty openly, and there's discrimination and racism openly. So why you think you got a secret organization to either help Black people or America? Meanwhile, everyone's still dying. Meanwhile, the president is doing what he's doing in the way he's doing it. Meanwhile, you know, and all these things are going on, and so I personally don't care who's who. I care about God. I think people are so full of themselves, whether they be white or black, eh, that it's disgusting. It's repulsive. It's despicable, and it's too much hypocrisy for them to be stuck on themselves. To be honest, it's too much hypocrisy. If it's not white people, it's black people. If it's not black people, it's white people. It's so much hypocrisy between those two races, particularly here in America, that who cares about their greatness? Who cares? When you killing each other, I don't care if you're the chosen ones. When you're killing all the time, killing children, gangbangers killing children, you think I care about somebody talking about chosen ones? I don't personally care, honestly. And that's based on good logic and good common sense. I mean, whatever it is that you're supposed to be, you're not being that. That's first of all. Collectively speaking, you're not being that chosen group of people. You're not behaving or projecting yourselves as that chosen people. So why would I be just standing there, wait, what I supposed to be doing? And white superiority is never really um, been able to utilize other human beings properly. So that doesn't work, because if you were superior to other races, then you would be able to put everyone in their particular positioned design without making them feel inferior to you. So I don't take sides. I'm not collectively with anyone, because these are truly the last days. In the last days, every black people ain't together, white people ain't together. Nobody is together per se. And I mean, when I say together, got it together. Nobody got it together. So that's how it's supposed to be. And therefore, most sound of mind people are not even focused on any race of people. They looking forward to the coming of Jesus Christ. They're looking forward to God, because every race is all messed up. All these people are tore up from the floor up, all of them. So real Christians, most of them, I would suspect, it's an educated guess to think that they're focused on God, period. Not man, not humanity. A lot of people are burnt out on humanity, period. I, they tired of people. They tired of black people. They tired of white people. They tired of Americans. And that's why some people are withdrawn. And then you still got people projecting themselves as something great. You know what I'm saying? I don't see it, man. Maybe I'm missing it. I don't see it. I don't see it when you're killing each other. I don't see it when there's still racism in America. I don't see it when, you got America. doing what they're doing with child marriage, I don't see the greatness that everyone's talking about. I don't see it, and I'm just tired of people tooting their own horns. I feel like it's a part of the last days for no one to be good or together. So then, therefore, spiritual people are not even focused on humanity per se because no one's together. Everybody's hypocrites, collectively speaking, because it's the final time, it's the final hours. In the final hours, everyone is hypocrites, evil, and everything in between. So those who are spiritual in the last times are not honestly even focused on humanity as a result. I'm not focused on you like that. If you think I am, I'm not. I'm focused on the problems that the different ethnicities bring, particularly here in America. It is not just white people. Okay? So differentiate the difference between bringing up the problems and bringing the solutions, then me worried about you or thinking about you or focused on you or opposing you even. Nobody's thinking about that. What I'm thinking about is the problems. That's my foundation. That's naturally how I approach all of these situations. Now, if you're a narcissistic person, you're going to look at yourself. You're going to think about yourself instead of thinking about, well, yeah, outside of me and my feelings, that really is actually a problem. I feel the way I feel, but in actual reality, that is an actual real problem that someone would have a problem with. So, but when you can only see yourself, which is a form of not loving, being of love, then you're only thinking about your position and how you see it. Think about how other people see it. That's what makes you smart, is you're able to come out of yourself and you're able to see it from someone else's position. Okay? Because with all that gang banging and kids getting killed all the time, and you got random shootings here and there, it's mostly black people. And that has not, that's a fact. Okay? And it's a fact that has not been addressed by black leadership. It hasn't been addressed by the American government because they're too scared to touch it. They're too scared to be called racist. You see how it works? You see how it works? It's a real problem, but the government can't even properly address it as it is, mentioning that it is African Americans. You can't address it like that because people are going to say it's racism. That's a perfect example of what I'm saying. Is that if you address it properly and specifically, then you're being a racist. We address racism specifically. It's white people. We put that in there. But when you talk about the gangbanging and stuff, you can't say it's black people, right? Okay. But we can say it's white people when we talking about racism. We specifically say it. We don't say, oh, well, there's just racism towards black people. We don't just say that alone without mentioning the race that's responsible. You see? So racists are held responsible, but people that's killing black people and killing black children that happen to be black, you can't be specific about their race without being considered a racism. You can't hold them responsible specifically. And that's where the problem is that you can't hold African Americans responsible specifically for the killing that's going on. And it's obviously them that's doing it. And it's obviously them that's doing the most killing in the country, in the whole country. Now, that's based on an educated guess, right? That's based on an educated assumption. Does that have anything to do with racism? does that. That is that based on the skin color? Let's define what racism is. Let's go to the definition. Let's go to the definition. Because we have people that are quick to say something is racist, right? When your mama correct you, is that racism? When your daddy whoop you, is that racism? That's correction. That's what that's called. See, when we come out in the world, we're not we're closed-minded towards correction. Nobody's doing it. But when your parents correct you, you don't call it racism. You specifically did something. It was specifically you, and you're getting chastised for it. That's not racism. It's the same thing, man. Like, people can't play me with that. Like, if it's you that's doing it, it's you that's doing it. It's not racism. So racism, by definition, the kind that people talking about, is based on appearance, right? It's based on just how you look. That's it. It's not based on, we can get into racism by culture. We can get in racism by different satellites and different, we can have different satellites of racism, but foundationally, racism is just, you look at somebody and you hate who they are. That's racism, right? Now you can get into the satellites of racism, the different components, if you will. But foundationally, it's just literally looking at a certain race of people and not liking them by appearance. That's real racism. That's the foundation, right? Okay, so when I'm mentioning gang banging, what does that got to do with your appearance? When I'm mentioning you gang banging and you being a problem with the gang banging and killing kids, what that got to do with your appearance? Right? It has nothing to do with your appearance. And if you think I have a hidden agenda, then that's you being narcissistic. That's you being, once again, focused on you instead of looking at an obvious problem. An obvious elephant in the room of America. It's the biggest problem. And I'm not gonna be like what's his name? Boosie, and say that black people is the biggest problem in the world, the worst race in the world. He said that. But you still love him and you still buy tickets. That's how biased you are. That people will tell you what they think, their personal opinion, that you're the worst race. That's what Lil Boosie said. Right? And I'm not holding that against him. I'm bringing it up so that you can see that there are people that see things like you're a problem. Right? I'm sure you heard people in your own family say, we are our own worst enemy, in other words. We don't get along, something to that effect. So you're not out of touch with what I'm saying. You've heard it from family, you've heard it from other people. So by the time you hear me say it, you should already know what angle that's coming from. You should already know. But you're being sensitive and hypocritical at the same time, okay? You're worried about racism, but you're not cherishing your own people. You're not loving your own people. Form of hypocrisy to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm just tired of hearing people talk about anybody being anything. Period. I don't personally care. What I care about is respect, honor, and good manners and good deeds and good character. Whoever that comes out of, that's where I'm at. That's what I care about. Whoever it comes out of. Anybody that's walking around here killing each other, I would say, I don't care who it was. I wouldn't care who it would be. I would make it clear I feel that's crazy. I will make it clear. So what we have here is people that's biased. That's another elephant in the room. That's why you have a whole culture that has went astray from sound doctrine and sound minded perspectives. It's because people are so biased. They're so biased towards their own people. So when you're biased, let me break down what bias means. When you're biased, that means you're going to be more inclined to support, in this definition or in this angle that I'm talking about, you're going to be more supporting no matter what happens, no matter what people do, no matter how people do things, you're still going to be supporting like a family. Like no matter how bad your family is, for the most part, you still support them, right? Because you're biased towards your family. They can do they can do wrong in your eyes and you tell them the truth, but for the most part, you're going to support them anyway. You're going to be with them anyway, no matter what they're doing. So this is what it is in the African American community. You got a whole culture of biasness, if that's a word. It's biased behavior. It's biased perspective. Because if you can get on CNN and talk about justice here and justice there and not use that platform to chastise your own people and correct your look, let's put it like this. If African Americans was a child, collectively speaking, the child will be due for a spanking. The child will be due for a whooping. Not congratulations. Not, oh, you've been such a good guy, a good boy, or a good girl. No. You would be in need of a whooping. These killings just happened. It's happened this past Memorial Day weekend. And that's the problem, is everyone's so biased. And when you talk about real issues, it's like fat free. It's like NutraSweet. It's like Diet Pepsi. It's like Diet Pepsi. When you start talking about black violence, black, and black on black crime, Joe Biden couldn't even talk last night about specifically black people in the inner cities shooting each other and killing each other. He couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. He ain't gonna be able to ever do it. It's safe to say that there's someone that the government will never be able to address African American black on black crime directly. They can't even address it directly. And it's a real issue. And you can't say everyone has a hidden agenda. And you can't say everyone is that's talking about it is against you. Not everybody. When you obviously have the biggest problem in the country, black on black crime is the biggest problem in the country. But you've been so biased that you can't even see that. What is the other bigger problem? What is the other problem? If it's not that, what is the problem then? What is the biggest problem in America? Because you can't say racism anymore. It's in the top 10, but you can't say it's the number one problem. When you are killing yourselves, you have to have a reality check. And you can't do that when you're biased. When you're biased, you cannot check yourself. And the white man can't do it. No other people can do it because you're not going to listen to anyone else. You're going to feel like, well, they don't got no business talking about it. But at the same time, you're here though. Besides being a race of people, you're here on their grounds. You're here in their government. but you don't want to be addressed. It doesn't work like that, man. You're on their clock. You're on their watch. You know, if you're out here a part of this country, you have to take the good with the bad. You got to take when they want to correct something that is on their grounds. You know, so what everyone's looking for, the problem is when you have leaders, let's talk about when you do have chosen ones, real chosen ones. Everyone wants to claim that chosen one. Okay? And it's not going to happen, you know, because it's not here in America, because it's too much hypocrisy and disrespect, you know, as far as I'm concerned. I'm not connecting myself to any group of people here in America. Nope. I individualize everything. And that's how you gotta move. That's how you gotta move in order to um, be in a place of wisdom. Because if you can sit up and stand with something that is collectively wrong, what does that say about your good morals and your mind? What does that say about your mind? When you can stand with something that is collectively a culture that is collectively wrong, whether it's American culture or black culture or even white culture. White culture sits back and do nothing. They get rich, they live in the hills, and they do nothing. Okay? You can't attach yourself to foolishness. You can't attach yourself